It's early morning, another morning podcast. My dog took a shit last night everywhere. I know that's not what you want to hear. The first thing talking about coffee or rambling about something. But yeah, she did. Um, Finished my workout. That was good. But yeah, good day so far, even after cleaning up a lot of poop, which is my fault. It's one of those things where I have to realize that she can only take so much and also some rich stuff. There's a lot of it. So I'll be better next time. I just gave her a little nice pat, let her know that, it's my fault. And that was that. So I should be more tired than I am today. Still under the weather and all that good stuff, but I'll get past it. Other than that, things are going pretty good. I am actually drinking another cup of French press. I've been spending some time writing about French press, which will be on a website soon too. But I also thought that I should also podcast it, of course, make a little series and go from there. And I may see what other coffees do for me, but as of right now, this dark roast Sumatran is not it. It is truly not it. There's no clarity. There's no style or flavor to the coffee. It's just muddy, and that's typically usually the flavor profile of French press, at least to me. And I thought about going ahead and filtering the coffee after it's brewed, and it does make a significant difference. But I chose not to just because I wanted to get the authentic taste of the French press to see if I can chase that nostalgia of what I tasted a long time ago. Believe it or not, I actually started on the French press. Of course, some of this coffee maker stuff did exist 15 years ago. But I thought that the French press would be the easiest thing because it's just water, coffee, and time, which most things are. But it was the simplest form, no filter, just a small mesh filter. And yeah, so that was that, and I brewed with that for at least a year or so till I started going to like the coffee makers and then going back to the pour overs, like the B60 and all the other coffee gadgets that I did get. But yeah, the simple French press. And it kind of doesn't matter as it cools down. Because when it cools down, that's usually my sweet spot with most coffees. But this one's just hot. Just hot motor oil. But like I said, thinking I may continue this series, of course, but I will start with a more medium roast, less developed coffee and go from there. Because if I can get some type of flavors out of that coffee in particular, of course, I'll go ahead and benchmark it to the B60. And I understand when I do that, it's still not going to be the same, so to speak. Of course not, because it's a different coffee maker. It's a filter coffee, uh, different way of making coffee, right? But I do want to see what that coffee tastes like. And I did roast coffee a couple days ago. And it, I think I did 2 medium roasts and the other ones are dark, something like that. But yeah, so we'll see how that goes. But again, I need a decent benchmark to get an understanding of that coffee, what it tastes like, and then I can kind of backtrack it and go from there and try different recipes and stuff. And it's been a cool process. It's been a frustrating process, but it has been productive. It kind of brings me back to coffee again, loving coffee and just experimenting with it and just enjoying it and giving parameters, things to people that may be interested in, different brewing types or different ways of going about making their morning cup. But right now, it's not working as a black coffee. I mean, almost anything will work with a creamer coffee, as I say. It does have that bold tasting characteristics, so it won't so much be lost in the shuffle when it comes to blending the coffee maker in the coffee. But as it is by itself, as naked as can be, it's kind of trash. And it's kind of saying we were saying that because a lot of times when I see people or hear people talk about their coffee or their product, a lot of times they're very positive. Nothing sucks. And I get that also from the food world. Like whenever somebody is going around tasting food or whatnot, it's always good. A lot of times you can't get their real true opinion. And sometimes you can look at them and kind of get an idea if they're really truly telling the truth. But a lot of times everything is good, which is fine. It's tactful. That doesn't necessarily mean it's honest, but it's tactful. And sometimes that you need to do that in order to to keep favor, to keep pushing, to keep your concept and ideas going. But I'm talking about me and my coffee. And at times it doesn't work for different brew methods. And I think that's perfectly fine mentioning that. But again, like I said, I'll start with a more less developed, more flavor pronounced coffee. And we shall see how we can dial it in a lot better. Because all I'm really tasting are bitter notes and the flavors like hovering around. It's just kind of hard to really explain, but I don't really taste anything. And it's trying to speak to me. It's like somebody's like muted without the filter. And I can't really taste the things that are the coffee usually presents to myself. And don't get me wrong, this coffee is a couple weeks old, of course. I've been rocking with it for a while. It's been doing me right, especially at pour over. Espresso does come out a little bit. I did espresso yesterday too with this coffee. But as it sits right now, mm-mm. It just tastes like coffee. No personality. Not really. So what else I got going for me I did, as I mentioned earlier, I did roast coffee uh today, no, a couple days ago. The roaster did really well. So was the tank, which is great. I did about 7 roasts, just back to back to back. Really good stuff. So I think my issues passed me. I'm still watching the roaster like a hawk though. So I do have to prepare, box up some stuff to get out there. And more than likely I'll do that tomorrow or Saturday. Um I got one copy of my bags already done, which is great. I will start to work on the other ones once I get the coffee product in. I mean the bags in which will be hopefully sometime next week. Hopefully I can finalize all the stuff today, and then they can go ahead and do what they need to, and then we can go from there. But that is pretty cool. It looks pretty good. My idea or concept did work. So they were able to put my design on the bag, and it looks really good. So we'll see when it gets here. And then what else do I have going for me? I have Amazon. Amazon is moving. It's fine. It's a big learning curve, huge learning curve. And there's certain things that I'm just not too keen or know about. But they did send me a couple of links. So I'll go ahead and start looking into that as I figured out that I would like to get a listing up. At least get the listing ready to rock and roll at the start of the new year, the first or second week. So I have enough time, but it's still a big learning curve. So I would like to get a lot of the learning done now and then go from there. I know for sure I have my medium roast and the dark roast, and we'll see how that works out for me and for everybody else as we go about this journey together. It's going to be interesting. And I think the next thing I will start to work on is a sample bags wording. But yeah, we shall see. I don't know what else to talk about right now. I would talk about the other thing that I keep trying to talk about, but that's not going to happen, at least not right now, just because I would do that on the next podcast. I think that's the best approach, best way to go about it. About the other products, being tactful about talking about them, because I think that's very important that you're able still to talk about products and be honest, critical, and hopefully the information is good to get back to the maker so they can improve upon it. I know I'm not anybody, you know, but the point is that I bought the product, it didn't work out. And I think it's extremely important that I tell you the reason why I think it didn't work out for me and things that you can improve on. And I think one of them is just that price is too high. You know, I bought one that's about $100 less. Again, I'll talk about this actual device later, but I bought one that was $100 less, and it's fine. It's working. You know, it's a lot more actual functionality without the app, which is great. But yeah, so we shall see. I will let you know. We will go from there, and I'll talk to you soon again. Bye.